The point of this, obviously, is to keep you ahead of your hacker, because in today's world, anybody can be a hacker. There's hacking software that's just a Google away. So why do you need protection? As your IT vendor, we're providing you with all the security from a technical perspective that's possible. We give you firewalls, we give you antivirus, we give you spam filters, we filter your web traffic to make sure that you're not clicking on an inappropriate site or misspelling sites, so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, each one of you guys have access into your network. And by being fooled by a hacker, you can give access to your network through use of your passwords or other means, by clicking on links and so forth. So the format of this presentation, as in prior years, we go over passwords and the importance of passwords, unsecure Wi-Fi, unknown clicking, and social engineering. Passwords are the most sought after security hole, because obviously your password is your key. So hackers are looking to get your passwords. People are naturally lazy with passwords, so you naturally reuse passwords. You create something that you think is secure, and then you reuse that or use a variation of that. And once a hacker cracks one of your passwords, they then get other passwords of yours. And by the way, in today's world, you're not only giving your password to a hacker through some kind of cracking tool. A lot of them today will send you a link to a website that will look like, say, an Office 365 login, and it's not a real 365 login site, but looks like that to you. You enter your username and password, it passes you through to 365, and now the hacker has your password and can access your account. Again, if you're reusing those passwords, they have access to accounts that you wouldn't even think that they have. So when it comes to cracking, this is important to password length. We'll recommend that you end up somewhere in this 10-year realm with 8 to 10 alpha, upper, and lowercase characters, numbers, and symbols. You can see the big jump when you go from 6 characters to 8 characters. It just shows that there's a difference in length. And actually, when we get into the recommendation, I'll discuss, Microsoft actually recently changed the recommendation on passwords. Unsecure Wi-Fi. Imagine you're sitting at a Starbucks, and the target is this guy over here, and the woman is the hacker. And imagine you connect to what you think is the Starbucks Wi-Fi, but it's not really the Starbucks Wi-Fi. It's really Wi-Fi that's being broadcast off of her laptop. Once you connect to her laptop, there's 2 major threats. One is she can be filtering and monitoring all your data in motion. Anything that you're doing while you're connected to her Wi-Fi, she can see. So if you're entering passwords in sites, if you're logging into your bank accounts, any emails that you're downloading, websites that you're visiting, she could get a real-time view on everything that you're doing on the network. The other thing that she can do is she could pop an update on your computer, whether it's a Windows update, a Mac update, Office update, Adobe update, and it's not a real update, but what it does is it gives remote access to your computer. Now, she doesn't even need to be in the same room as you are in the same wireless network. As long as you're online with your computer, she has remote access to your computer, and that's why that puts your data at rest, which is all the data that's sitting on your laptop at risk for her downloading and getting access to. So unknown clicking, you've all got an email like this. I've sent you an agreement in Dropbox. Click here, you see the blue link. There's a familiar name in here. You click the link, and the next thing you know, you get a window like this, and you have crypto virus. It's funny, these things have been going on for so long now. The date on this attack is 2013, but the same attacks are going on today, and they're even getting more vicious. So what starts as an attack on one computer will go after the entire network. They'll start encrypting your servers, your backups, anything that they can do to hold the company ransom. We've seen ransom in the millions of dollars. Now, hopefully, as your IT provider, we have a good backup of all your data. And if you do happen to click on one of these things and fall for it, we delete everything and restore you from backup. Social engineering, beware of all information that you're putting out there on social media. Again, these are things that can be used by hackers to fool you. I'm not saying don't use social media, but on social media, people might be able to figure out your age, your college that you went to, your marital status, your children's names, your pets' names. These are all things that you might be using for password. But really, what's more impactful is if you get an email from somebody that knows something that's going on, like you happen to be on vacation somewhere, you're posting pictures of that vacation, and you get a post from someone that, oh, they're also vacationing in Florida, and they know that you're there, and they're out of money, and can you please go buy Target gift cards and upload them onto this website because they're suffering. Types of social attacks, there's baiting, kind of that example that I gave you, or imagine you're back in your office in the city and we put a bunch of USB sticks in the lobby of the building. somebody might plug that in, and that USB stick has malware on it that's now going to load and give remote access into your computer. The idea with phishing is sending you an email that looks legitimate, or that example that I showed before with the crypto virus, where that was a hacker that sent it. It wasn't that person that actually sent it. Pretexting is giving some information. Great example of that is somebody takes your college off of social media, and they see that maybe you graduated, I don't know, 5 years ago from college, so you must still have student loans. So they're going to call you and say, oh, you need to update your bank account to draw your student loan payments. Can you please send your routing number and account number? Again, they're pretexting you, giving you some information which is valid on you and might build some trust. So what should we be doing? Passwords. I highly recommend using a password manager. I use LastPass. I know I've recommended LastPass in the past. There's some other products out there. Just make sure that you're using a reputable product and not one that's malware in itself. The advantage of using a product like LastPass is I don't know any of my passwords. When I have to create a password, LastPass generates it for me. LastPass stores my passwords for me. I use really, really long passwords with LastPass because I don't care, I don't have to remember them and it's automated. So why not take advantage of that? The other thing is that I don't have any repetitive passwords because they're all unique, generated by LastPass. I can also search in LastPass to see how my other passwords rank, if there's any passwords I created myself that might not be secure, or I can also set it to tell me if passwords have been out there for a long time and I should possibly change them. The other thing to use is dual factor authentication. We have that set up, for example, with email. The oldest form, I like to say, of dual factor authentication is the ATM card. You can never go to an ATM machine and take out money without having a PIN and a card. I guess today now you can do it with your phone. You can do the Apple Pay. You still need the PIN. So here, the dual factor is you're entering your password, but on top of that, it's popping up on your phone and saying, is this you logging into this site? So even if someone has your password and they log in, your dual factor will pop up on your phone. You'll know it's not you. Now you know someone has your password. You want to change your password. So that's important. Don't write down your passwords. Don't store them anywhere. Don't create a file on your computer, like an Excel spreadsheet that has your passwords on them. For example, we do penetration tests. On the penetration test, as soon as they get into the network, first thing they do is search for files that contain the word password or name password. So the password recommendation is, if you're going to create your own password, use passphrases like this. This is my first password. It has uppercase, lowercase. It's long. It has a special character at the end. It's easier to remember when you create a passphrase. Microsoft is now recommending that you don't change your password regularly. You just create a 12-character passphrase, and you keep that for your computer for long-term with dual-factor authentication. That way, you don't have to worry about when you change your password, you forget your password. You don't have to worry about all those things. They're recommending that you take a password for a longer term. Unsecure Wi-Fi, whenever possible. Everyone's smartphone today can be a hotspot. I recommend, rather than using any public hotspots in places that you don't know, use your own personal hotspot. If you travel a lot for business, get MiFis. This little device here is a MiFi. It works the same as the hotspot. The advantage is sometimes when you're on the phone and you're using it as a hotspot, it would drop. And also the hotspot definitely drains the battery a lot on your phone. So if you're going to use it a lot, get one of these MiFi things, the easiest to stick in your bag. It's even smaller than a phone. Unknown clicking, best recommendation for that is really just slow down. Hover over hyperlinks to see where they're going to take you before you click on them. Check the spelling on links. You see here PNC Bank versus PNC Bank with 2 links. Try to avoid mini URLs, so you really have no idea where they're going to take you. And then the other thing is that someone's asking you for sensitive information. They're asking you for a bank account, or you think you're getting an email from the IRS saying, where do you want your tax refund going? Call the person or take the extra time to send a separate email. Don't necessarily reply to that person and asking if they're really asking you for that information. It's really important because a lot of fraud going on out there. In summary, we went over password management, we went over Wi-Fi, double check, call people to confirm emails, be more aware in general.